Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I have a new screen recorder. I figured out the password. I went and asked and memorized the password. Okay. This works a little differently. Obviously I have to exit out of the recording screen so you are seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm going to show you my cool new recording thing before I read part 13 and then go to bed because my stomach is killing me. It is called Ultra Screen Recorder. Obviously, as you can see up here. And you can obviously see my mouse. I can see my mouse through the... Never mind. Yep, and we're on the display screen. Right. Got it on my mic. I had to figure out how to get it there. That was really annoying as hell. Trying to get it to the right microphone because I had my headphones plugged in, my fucking speaker going. So it was like, which one am I listening to? As you can see, it tells me when I'm getting too loud as well. At least that's what I think it says. I don't know. Maybe it's just like, this is probably not headphone user appropriate. So, I mean, I won't be able to see that the entire time. I need a second screen. Right? I have this one recording this screen. Ooh. If only I had the money for that. That'd be cool. Having the money to have two separate computer screens. If I had the patience to clean my room, to have the space for a second computer screen, let alone the money for a second computer screen, yeah, that'd probably help. But I don't have the space for a second one at the moment. I got my laptop like sitting in the middle of my desk. My keyboard is on top of my laptop for school, which it came from the school, so it's like completely free. We're not affording a laptop. That shit's got to be returned. So I'm kind of hoping I don't break it somehow before the year is up, because that shit's got to be returned. And then we got the computer that I've had for fucking ever. And I'm rambling, aren't I? I am. I'm rambling. Okay, we're going to get to what I was going to do. Hello, and welcome back to another video. I'm obviously tired, as you can tell. I actually got more sleep last night because I had a bunch of testing to do. I'm rambling again. Okay. Today, we are reading His Reasons. It's a Todoroki X Reader fanfic by AshleyH713. I don't remember what happened in the last one, so let's hope you do, because I'm going to be catching up while reading this. We're going to be reading Season 3, Chapter 13, and then only that, because I am lazy and would rather do recordings tomorrow, when I think I'm going to be in less pain, but something tells me I'm not going to. What? Oh, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Let me get the... Yeah. Quarantine has got everyone trapped at home. That and, my mom just gave birth, so she's chilling at home. And Devine doesn't have school. We would have been trapped at home anyway. I don't think quarantine would have changed what we're doing right now. Like, seriously. Yeah, I think the only thing that's different is I probably would have gone to the store this week with the family already. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because now I don't get out of the house ever, but I really don't mind that. I just hate the fact that everyone's complaining about smelling something in the house that I can't fucking smell. But, who cares, right? I'm rambling again, though. So, where was I? Yeah, let's begin the reading before I start rambling again. Bakugo banged on his sister's door 5 times before waiting to receive only silence. It was almost time for class, and she was taking forever getting ready. Well, it was either that or the poor girl was stalling for as long as she could. Katsuki knew better than anyone how heartbroken his sister was over changing classes and all. He grumbled to himself before slamming his fist on the surface again, shouting through the wood angrily, "Come on, Amari! Get your ass moving already! Why are you always so goddamn slow?" Just then, the door opened quickly, revealing a very annoyed sister. "Would you cut it out, Katsuki? I already said I was coming. Give me a damn break, would you?" Shaking her head in frustration, Katsuki could now see the bags under her eyes and her very tired stance. She had never really snapped at him before. Usually she would just brush it off, and he would call her a pushover. That's how he knew she wasn't alright. Mari closed the door behind her, only to find Bakugo trying to take her school bag out of her hands. Was this going to be a normal occasion now? She hoped not. Don't even think about it. I already told you, I can carry my own bag. Cut it out already, would you? She stepped away then, causing Katsuki to back off for a moment, now just staring at her in concern. He knew he was probably overdoing it, but the boy couldn't help it. There was something up with her. Listen, if any extras try to mess with you, just let me know and I'll take care of them. Looking down at the floor for a moment, the girl smirked sarcastically. Thanks, but I'm fine. I can handle myself, Katsuki. Narrowing his eyes in frustration, Bakugo said his next words without thinking. And how are you going to do that without a quirk, dumbass? The minute he said that, Katsuki knew he had misstepped. Watching his sister shrink into herself a tiny bit more, her voice sad. I'll figure it out. Just stop trying to baby me, okay? I don't need you to fight my battles for me. Bakugo was silent then, watching her walk away from him slowly. Why did he always have to say the wrong thing? He didn't even know how to be that caring twin brother she always wanted. Everything was so new to him. But one thing was for sure. He would protect her, even if Amari didn't want it. Moving to the front gates without Bakugo, Amari stopped when she noticed a bunch of reporters trying to get into the gates. It was like All Might's incident all over. As she passed through, the reporters perked up, shouting through the bars. Bakugo, Amari, a word please! Amari stopped for a moment, clearly confused as they tried to reach their microphones through the bars. How does it feel to aid All for One in the attack a couple weeks ago? Are you blackmailing any of the heroes to let you stay at UA? Her eyes widened as the reporters fed her such hate and lies, calling her a villain and shouting at the girl through the gates. On closer inspection, they seemed to also be some protesters with large signs that read, "Don't let a villain into UA." Among other hateful words, it was honestly overwhelming. Balling her hands into fists, Amari spoke back at them roughly. I'm not a villain. I haven't blackmailed anyone. Why are you even saying that? I'm a hero. You're not a villain, but you're not a hero anymore, technically either. You know, you just, never mind. Reporters took in her words before a male answered, his voice cruel and sharp. What kind of hero hurts their fellow students and aids a villain? She felt tears prick at the corner of her eyes as Amari answered back, You twisted everything around. I didn't aid in anything. Although the news team was faster, firing back, but you did admit to you hurt your fellow students. And Amari remained silent after that, knowing that what they said was true. She did hurt her friends. That was something unforgivable that she would never live down. What kind of person could even do that kind of thing? The answer was simple, a villain. Toothless! Stop. Toothless? Leave it alone. Toothless? Feeling her head grow dizzy, the girl shook her head before running off into the school roughly. A couple students looking in her direction as she went by. The tears were reaching the surface now, but Amari shoved them down until there were no more. The reporter sighed disappointment when a new voice could be heard through the space. What the hell did you say to her, you damn extras? They turned to find Bakugo glaring back at them angrily, one of the people recognizing him immediately. Oh, I know you. You're related to that villain. At the word villain, Katsuki's palm started to light up in a fiery rage, pulling Man's jacket through the bars and hissing, Listen here. I'm only going to say this once. My sister is not a villain. So get that through your goddamn head already. Not much of an idiot could... How much of an idiot could you possibly be to even think that? Mari is nothing but a hero. So don't you dare even start with that crap unless you want me to catch you on fire right now. The man wiggled under his grasp, clearly afraid as Bakugo grew satisfied. Toothless! Stop. As clearly afraid as Bakugo grew satisfied, throwing the men back and scoffing in absolute anger. Bastards! Now get out of here before I do something not very heroic. They seemed to listen to his threat, running back a couple feet so that they were no longer near the gates. That's when he heard another voice. Toothless! Toothless! Dude! Take a nap. Just go take a nap. Lay down and take a nap. You ain't getting out until I'm done recording. I mean it. Ka-chan, you didn't have to be so violent. I get you're upset over Amari-chan, but what if they start assuming things about you too? Turning back to find Deku, Katsuki only frowned, surprisingly keeping his voice rather level. Those bastards can say what they want about me. I can take it. but no way in hell am I going to let them say that kind of shit about my sister. Deku blinked in surprise at that. Wow, Kachan, you've really changed. Bakugo scoffed back, though, his voice already escalating. What the hell does that mean? Putting his hands out in defense, the boy cried back. I didn't mean anything bad by it. I just think it's really sweet that you're looking out for Amari-chan like that. By the way, is she doing okay? I'm really worried about her. Amari's brother looked off in the direction of the school before letting his eyes fall. I think I'd be pretty damn stupid to say she's alright, although it's not like she'd tell me anyways. Deku took in his friend's face and couldn't help but be kind of shocked. At this moment, Kachan looked soft and more human, like he really was worried about his sister. You're right, I don't think I'd be alright if someone told me I had to be quirkless again. But Amari-chan is so smart and amazing, even without a quirk. I guess we'll just have to look out for her. Right, Kachan? Closing his eyes for a moment, Bakugo only gave a slow, silent nod before turning on his heels away from the boy. The last thing he wanted was for Deku to get involved with this, but if it meant her improving, then he would suffer through. Same with that icy hot bastard. At this point, he would do anything to get her to smile back. Running down the hallways, Amari didn't really know where she was going, but somehow her legs... What the hell was that? I don't know what that was. But somehow her legs wouldn't listen to her, just continuing to dash with no sign of stopping. All she wanted was for those terrible words in her mind to disappear. She closed her eyes for a moment, willing them away, when suddenly she ran directly into someone, causing all their books to fall to the floor in a single heavy thud. Groaning from the ground, Amari rubbed her backside carefully before bowing her head in a hard apology. I'm so sorry, that was completely my fault. I wasn't looking where I was going, and... Although she paused when the stranger's voice called out to her. Amari, what are you doing running down the hallway like that? Are you alright? She blinked twice, only to find Todoroki staring back at her, visibly confused. Shoto? I'm sorry, I didn't know that was you. I wasn't doing anything important. Brushing herself off, Todoroki reached out his hand for her to grasp, hoisting her back up. You already apologized, and something is telling me you're not telling me the full truth. When she was back on her feet, Amari sighed heavily. It's just, I ran into a couple reporters on the way to the gates, and they said some rude things, that's all. Nothing I can't handle. Yet Todoroki wasn't so sure about that. The girl clearly looked upset a minute ago. This brought another question in his mind, though. What about Bakugo? Wasn't he supposed to be with you? Rubbing the back of her neck once, the girl shook her head in exasperation. Yeah, I went on ahead. He's been really weird since I came back, and I don't... Toothless, will you stop ripping up the bags? That's how I clean your shitter. Really weird since I came back, and I don't really know why. It's like he thinks I can't do anything for myself. I hate it. Dude, Toothless. Okay, I gotta go move those bags. Hold on. Todoroki knew very well why Bakugo had changed so suddenly, but he didn't want to bring it up to her yet. If she knew that her brother saw her in her weakest moment, then she wouldn't be able to talk to him normally again. Touching her arm slightly, the boy replied, have you thought of the possibility that he's trying to show that he cares about you? Maybe he's just worried after everything that happened. I know I still am. Amari's eyes saddened then, placing her hand on top of his. I guess it's just weird. He's never been this nice before. I don't really know how I should take it. My mind just went the worst possible place. Todoroki couldn't help but smile slightly at that. I'm sure Bakugo isn't very well versed on showing his feelings, so it will take a little time to get used to it. But isn't this what she wanted? She thought for a moment, before lowering her eyes in sadness. Yeah, I guess it's just complicated. I don't even really understand why he would care so much now that I'm basically useless and the weak twin. The boy's smile disappeared then, leaning closer to her in concern. Amari, you are not useless. I've said it before. You are more than just your quirk. You'll see that soon. Someday you'll see what I see. Shaking her head at his words, Amari scoffed. What, an annoying quirkless brat? Although Todoroki only frowned, brushing a couple strands of hair from her face. No, a beautiful, intelligent, amazing girl. and the one that I love. I didn't fall in love with your quirk, Amari. I fell in love with every part of you. Amari felt her face flush in embarrassment as the first bell rang, signifying that their conversation had to be over. Todoroki speaking first. You should hurry to class before you're late. I'll see you after, alright? She nodded back in a daze which caused him to smile, leaning forward and pressing a quick kiss onto her forehead. You can do this. I know you can. If you can handle my father and his agency, then you can handle anything. Pulling away, Todoroki lifted up his hand in a goodbye as Amari mimicked the action, her fingers touching the place where his lips were lightly. Why was he still being so sweet to her when she had nothing to offer back? She honestly didn't deserve him. Amari felt her lips curve into a small smile before her eyes caught something on the ground a couple feet away. It looked to be a letter of some sort. Picking it up in confusion, she turned it around only to find that it was addressed to Todoroki. He must have dropped it when they bumped into each other. She flipped it over only to see that the seal was torn and broken, the letter peeking out of the top, and coax, it's not a word I can say, her to touch it. No, that would be wrong. She couldn't just read his mail like that. Although, with the letter already open, Amari couldn't resist. Taking the paper out before opening it and laying her eyes on the first couple of words, she told herself that once she knew what it was, that she would put the contents back. Yet that's not what happened at all. The girl losing feeling in her hands all at once and dropping her bag onto the floor. The paper wasn't just any old boring letter. No, it was for a marriage interview. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. With the wandering thoughts, Amari made her way with the instructions that All Might had given her before she returned back to the academy. She supposed this was her life now, so she had to get used to it. Reaching the doorway of the class listed, she sighed heavily before pushing the door open and walking inside. This immediately caught the attention of the other classmates. One of the boys narrowed his eyes in confusion and pointed. Hey, I know you. Aren't you the Bakugo girl from Class 1A? Ignoring his words, though, she walked past the boy as another spoke. Wait, she's the one on the news right now. Ah, don't tell me we got stuck with a villain in our class. Mari lowered her eyes in annoyance as another voice spoke back, except this time it was a bit more familiar. Took you long enough, short stuff. I was beginning to think you got lost. She turned around in confusion, only to find Shinso staring at her, standing in front of her, bag in hand. Shinso, what are you doing here? Throwing his bag over his shoulder, the boy leaned down, pointing to her slip of paper. This is my class, dummy. Can't you read? All Might asked me to keep an eye on you, so he transferred you into this class instead. Welcome to Class 1C. The heck? At his words, Amari frowned. So he asked you to babysit me. Is that it? What, is he afraid I'm going to go berserk and kill someone also? This caused Sensho to become rather surprised, noticing her rough tone. What? No, I just heard about everything and thought it might be better for you to be in a class where you knew someone. Don't treat me like I'm some little lapdog for All Might. Sorry for assuming wrong. Mari stopped then, realizing what he just said. He asked for her to be transferred, just so she wouldn't be lonely. She had to admit that that was a really sweet thing to do. Feeling bad for yelling at him, she sighed. No, I'm sorry. You were just trying to help, right? Sorry. I've just been a little off lately. Shinso frowned back, pointing to the girl in question. I've noticed. Be careful. You're starting to get dangerously close to Bakugo territory with that attitude. Well, it's not like it matters. Go ahead and say what you want. I'm not that fragile. Mari couldn't help but smile at that, ruffling his purple hair like a child. Thanks, Shintoos. But hey, now that I'm out of the hero course, there's a spot open now. You should take your chance. At the close contact, Shinso felt his face go warm, not liking her words and slapping her hand away. Are you serious? I already told you that's not how I want to earn my spot. I want both of us in the hero course. You deserve it too. Her eyes grew sad, then shaking her head. I don't know. Maybe I was just kidding myself. It seems like the world doesn't want me to be a hero, so maybe I should just give up. Shinso narrowed his eyes in concern, then slapped her on the back side of her head to wake her up. She seemed really depressed right now, and he didn't like it. Blinking in surprise, Mari gasped. Ow, hey, what are you? Although she stopped when she saw Shinso's face. Since when has Bakugo Mari ever given up? Since when has she taken the easy way out? The answer is never. You've never done that, so don't start now. Rubbing the back of her head, Amari groaned back. Okay, I get it. Could you maybe not hit me next time? Yet he wasn't sure she did get it. as she just brushed off his comment like it was nothing. Somehow he knew that Amari needed more than just a few words to motivate her. He couldn't do that alone. Suddenly the teacher walked into class, speaking out loudly so everyone could hear. "Alright everyone, I see you've already welcomed Bakugo Amari into our class. I expect everyone to make her feel comfortable. Now everyone meet me at the training building in 10 minutes. We are going to work on some training." Looking towards each other, Shinso shrugged before heading outside and gesturing Amari to do the same, not really knowing what was in store. The class walked into the training ring quietly, Amari noticing that it was the same ring as that time she fought Todoroki before they became friends. The memory had a slight nostalgia to it. Because she was zoning out, she didn't even notice a couple classmates bump into her, clearly on purpose, before snickering back. It seemed they didn't like that she was there. Well, she was from the hero course after all. Shrugged her shoulder in a frown before the teacher spoke again. "Alright, today we are going to work on agility and strength, which will help in evacuating civilians while the heroes defeat the villain. The citizens are just as equally counting on us, so we must be in our best shape for them. Everyone partner up and show me what you got." Almost immediately, Amari felt a tap on her shoulder, turning to find one of the students who pushed her a couple minutes ago. "I challenge you, 1A reject." Frowning back, she nodded her head, already wanting this boy to eat his words. "Fine, but don't cry when you lose." This got the boy furious, already running towards her with his fist outstretched. Luckily, this exercise didn't involve quirk, so she felt pretty confident about this. The teacher must have done that on purpose. Amari dodged his blind fist easily before stepping to the side and raising her own fist up in a punch. The boy easily blocking as well. He grew cocky because of that, though, so she was able to swing another fist unnoticed, this time lower. The boy groaned as her fist made contact, doubling over in pain as Amari kicked his legs out from under him, causing him to tumble to the ground in a heavy thud. And just like that, it was over. Narrowing her eyes in disgust, she leaned down towards him. "Do you really think just because I dropped out of the hero course that I would be easy? Rule 1, never underestimate me. You got that?" He groaned back in response as Amari raised her head, now turning back to the other bullies sharply. "Anyone else want to try? Because I have a lot of pent-up rage I would like to get out." The students looked between each other in disgust before one of them replied, speaking for the group. "You really didn't act so cocky, Bakugo. Don't act like you're better than us just because you were in the hero course." Although Amari was too annoyed to care, only shrugging. "I'm not being cocky, I'm being reasonable. If you want to fight, then I'm not going to run away. So what will it be?" They all grumbled at that, Shinso watching nervously as she picked a fight with the entire class. She was really going to take all these kids with no quirk? That was insane. Then he couldn't help but stare as the group of 7 students all barreled towards her at once, determined to knock the girl down a couple pegs. Mari seemed to welcome the challenge, though, dodging one of their attacks and ducking under another. It's not like she wanted to fight them, but if she was going to be in this class, then she needed to show them that she was just as serious. That she wasn't a hero reject. It was the same determination and drive she had from Endeavor's agency. Feeling her heart rate increase, she went to dodge another attack when the girl noticed that her reaction time was a tiny bit slower than before, so much so that one of the students was able to get a strong punch in, swiping her across her jaw. She groaned back, wiping a small bit of blood from her mouth as she threw down another student and falling to the ground in a heavy thud. That was 3. There were only 4 more. Turning around, Amari ducked as her head suddenly grew even more dizzy than before. What the hell was even happening? She couldn't be this tired already. They weren't even using their quirks. Amari misstepped again, causing another punch to her chest and knocking the life out of her. Her breathing had picked up now, almost at an irregular rate. The sweat pooled on her brow as she heard someone call out to her, clearly worried. She just wished she knew who it was. She felt her legs give out for a moment as she flopped down on the ground, clutching her chest as her heart pounded in her ears. It was like that was all she could hear anymore. Willing herself to get back up, Amari found her strength and stood back up, the room beginning to spin all at once. What the hell was even happening? She couldn't let those students beat her. She needed to prove to them that she wasn't useless, that she was worth something. Thinking back to the letter in her bag, she also knew she had to push through for Todoroki. She had to be strong enough for him so that she wasn't a burden, if only her body would listen to her. Shinso felt his heart drop in his chest as Amari clutched her chest, now shouting at the other students to stop and pulling them away from the girl. Amari, get away from her. There's something wrong." The kids listened, backing away as Shinso leaned over towards the girl, noticing a heavy shake in her body, like she was forcing herself to even stand. Hey, Amari, can you hear me? What's wrong? Her eyes looked hollow, like she was mentally in pain as she spoke. Her breathing turned erratic. It's not over. I can do this. I can do this. Shinso's eyes saddened as he grabbed onto her shoulders before replying. It's okay. Just relax. They called the fight off. Just breathe. Although Amari only shook her head, tears rose to the surface as black spots pooled in her vision, now gasping out short breaths. No, I can't. I have to keep going or else I'll lose everything. I don't know why my body isn't... Please, I can't. She fell to her knees then, Shinso catching the girl so she wouldn't fall as he just stared at her in utter anxiety and fear. She was trying so hard to fight, even though her body was rejecting her. Weakly grabbing onto his shirt, Amari stared at him with devastation, tearful expression before she lost consciousness altogether, causing Shinso to gasp. Amari, hey Amari, Amari, wake up! Yet the girl wouldn't move, Shinso knowing fully well that she had pushed herself to her own breaking point. Groaning, Amari flopped open her eyes, now feeling the sensation of her body weighing her down. It was like her limbs were like lead bricks. Everything was still extremely hazy, and she had no idea how she even got there in the first place. She sat up, maybe a little too quickly, feeling a wave of dizziness overtake her as her voice echoed to her right. You poor dear, you like to overdo yourself, don't you? Narrowing her eyes in confusion, she turned only to find her recovery girl staring back at her. Where am I? The woman moved up to her before feeling her forehead lightly. The infirmary. The boy Shinso brought you here after you passed out during class. He seemed very worried as well. I had to make him go back to class. Pulling her hand away, Amari replied, Do you know what happened? I wasn't even using my quirk, and yet I felt so drained and exhausted. That's never happened before. The recovery girl was quiet for a moment before answering back sadly. That's because before you were using those dangerous pills to sustain your body. Didn't Amari already tell you? Once the drug is fully out of your system, then you'll return back to your original body. It seems that process has already started. The words hit Amari like a ton of bricks, causing her to look down at her hands. Did losing her quirk also mean losing her strength and her power? No, it couldn't be. She remembered herself as a child collapsing from just a small run. Was that how her life was going to be now? Whispering back, she replied, No, that can't be. I worked so hard to be strong. I can't even have that anymore? The woman cast her eyes down at that, shaking her head. I'm so sorry, dear. Unfortunately so. That means you have to stop pushing yourself like before. As you can see, your body isn't able to take it anymore. Mari felt a sob build in her throat, putting a shaky hand to her mouth to suppress it, when the door next to her slammed open aggressively. Where's Amari? I heard she collapsed. Where is she, damn it? She locked eyes onto her brother as the sweat pooled down his face. It was like he ran here as quick as possible. They stared at each other for a moment before whispering out. Amari? Opening her mouth to reply, suddenly the girl was surprised as Katsuki's rough hands wrapped around her slender frame, pulling her into a tight and suffocating embrace. She was about to question what was happening when Amari noticed the slight shake to his body. Was he scared? It couldn't be. Katsuki? Her words seemed to wake him up, pulling the girl away and shouting, What the fuck is wrong with you? You were being goddamn reckless again, weren't you, you idiot? Bakugo shook his sister back and forth, causing her to groan, placing a hand to her forehead in an incoming headache. You're overreacting, Katsuki. I'm fine. Although he noticed her headache and pulled away, giving her a tiny bit of space. Don't give me that crap. If you were really alright, you wouldn't have passed out in front of the entire damn class. What happened? Mari paused for a moment before looking down at her hands once again, sighing only for Recover Girl to reply for her. Bakugo's pills are leaving her system, so soon she'll be back to her original body. She just overexerted herself during class. A little rest and she'll be fine. Bakugo took in her words before sharply turning back to Amari, who looked devastated. Did that mean she was going to have to go back to how she was before America? Would she even have to be hospitalized? He then noticed a slight cut on her cheek and reached out to touch it, only for her to slap his hand away. She hated his pity look more than anything. Would you stop it already? Don't look at me like that! Frowning back, Bakugo replied, Like what? I haven't even said anything, damn it. Shaking her head, Amari touched her bruised cheek before answering. I know what you're thinking. I know exactly why you're being so nice all of a sudden. Not really fully understanding, he watched as she continued. Do you really think I'm stupid? The only reason you're like this is because you pity me, because you take one look at me and you see your poor little quirkless sister. that can't do anything. Well, that's not how I wanted your love, Katsuki. I never wanted you to look down on me like that. God, I'm gonna cry. Katsuki felt his stomach tighten, denying her claims altogether. What are you even saying? I'm not... Yet Amari only cut him off. Oh, please. That's exactly what you're doing. The last year we were at UA, I've done everything to get you to look at me, and only now do you decide to be my overprotective brother. Where were you all those times before? Nowhere. And that's because I wasn't quirkless and a nobody back then. Tell me I'm wrong, Katsuki. Tell me. As much as he hated to admit it, his sister was partly right. The only time he truly changed was after finding out about her hardships and struggles. Before that, he had no clue, just pretending that she didn't exist, when, in actuality, she was hurting far more than he ever knew. He needed to be there for her, and he just wasn't. Shaking his head, Bakugo replied, small and low. I made a mistake, okay? But I'm trying my best, damn it. Is it so bad that I want to help you now? That I want to be your brother? Mari took in his words for a moment before staring at the floor sadly. All my life, I've only wanted one thing. If all you're going to do is pity me, then that's just the same as you ignoring me. If I don't earn it, that doesn't mean anything. Her voice dropped lower as she locked eyes with her brother, really truly meaning her next words. I want to stand next to you, not behind you. Bakugo's eyes widened then as he took in his sister's pure determination. It wasn't about just being nice to her. No, she felt like she had to earn her spot next to him. He then maybe realized that his approach wasn't the best. He needed to make her see that he wasn't just doing this out of pity. The poor girl just couldn't believe his words yet. He had broke her that much. Katsuki paused for a moment before replying, It's not about that, you idiot. I get it, though. So I'm just going to have to make you see that I'm not going anywhere, no matter what you may believe in that screwed-up head of yours. Mari blinked in surprise, not fully understanding his words when the door next to them slammed open again, this time revealing Todoroki. Amari, are you alright? I got here as fast as I could. He ran up to her, but slowly stopped when he locked eyes with Bakugo. They stared at each other for a moment before Amari's brother sighed, standing up from the spot on her bed. Alright, icy hot bastard, you have 5 minutes. Make it count. Then he watched as Bakugo took only to look at Amari before speaking back. I'll be outside. Hurry up. Slamming the door to the infirmary behind the boy, Todoroki then turned back to Amari. It was almost like Bakugo finally approved of them. Does he seem a bit softer to you? Amari only shrugged her shoulders, though. I don't know. Something's been up with him. Walking over to the girl in question, Todoroki then placed a warm hand on her cheek before sighing. Thank goodness you're okay. I was worried. It was hard to focus in class knowing you might be hurt. She eyed his worry before running her fingers through his hair lightly. Hey, I'm okay. Sorry, I may have overdid it again in class. Yet Todoroki wasn't surprised by that. Of course you did. Amari, what have I told you about that? Smiling back sheepishly, she replied, I don't remember? He frowned at that, causing her to sigh. I know. But they started it. And I wasn't going to let them walk all over me just because I dropped from the hero course. Yet it seems I'm reverting back already. Soon I won't be able to fight at all. How funny is that? Todoroki knew what she meant by that. Remembering All Might's painful words, the look in her eyes was one of utter heartbreak. Is that really true? She nodded her head and the boy gasped, wanting to erase her sorrow right now. So he did the only thing he knew how to do. He pulled her into an embrace. Mari gasped at the impact, feeling his heartbeat hammer in his chest as the boy spoke. It's okay. You don't have to say anything. I'm here. Suddenly she felt the desire to cry but resisted, instead choosing to tightly grip his shirt for comfort. He knew that she didn't want to talk about it. What was there even to talk about? The reality, either way, was terrible. She closed her eyes at his warmth, now hearing herself speak with a slight crack to her voice. It's not fair. I worked so hard. Nodding his head back, Todoroki replied, I know, it's completely unfair. But you know, I'm kind of happy you stopped using those pills. At his words, Amari pulled away from him, staring at him with a look of utter betrayal. Those pills were everything to her. How could he say that? What? Putting a hand up to her to stop her, the boy continued, I'm glad because now that means you won't die so suddenly and leave me anymore. When you disappeared, I think I truly realized how important you are in my life, Amari. His explanation was sweet, but she couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness to it. Seems to me like nothing has changed. At least with my pills, I could die doing what I love, but now I'll slowly die with nothing. Todoroki turned his brow in concern, then, cupping her face lightly but firm, "Don't speak like that, please. Yes, this is difficult, but I already said we'd face it together. You won't be alone. I won't allow it." Just then, Amari thought back to the letter in her bag, shoving his hand off her lightly and turning away. "Is there something you want to tell me, Shoto?" Turning his brow in confusion, Todoroki replied, "No, I don't believe so." Amari shook her head in response, trying again. "Are you sure there isn't anything of importance you want to tell me about?" Yet once again he only shook his head. "Amari, what's wrong?" She's silent for a moment before reaching into her bag and pulling out the letter, now watching Todoroki's eyes grow wide. "Here, I'm sorry, but I read it." Taking the letter from her hands, he replied, "Amari." Although she only shook her head, her eyes now casting to the floor. "Since when have you been getting marriage interview offers?" Todoroki paused for a couple seconds before answering. "Since after you returned from being kidnapped. But I can explain it's my father's doing, not mine. I never asked for them." Thinking back to Endeavor, Amari frowned, uttering to herself, "He must really not want me then." The boy looked at the letter for a couple more seconds before throwing it in the trash can next to him. "I believe he's getting pressured by the news. That's why he's growing a bit more aggressive than usual." Hugging her arms across her chest, Amari then asked the question that she has been wondering since she picked up that terrible letter. "So, are you going to go?" Todoroki listened to her words before widening his eyes and looking at her like she was crazy. "What? Of course not. I've turned down all the offers. How could you even ask that? As if I would let my old man control my life like that." Mari rubbed the back of her neck in anxiety as she replied, "I don't know. Maybe you'd want to see your options or something like that. I won't judge you for it if you did, now that I'm quirkless and everything." Yet before she could even finish, Todoroki cut her off. "Are you serious right now? Why would I go to a marriage interview when I've already found the one that makes me happy? And she's sitting right here." Her face began to rise in heat as Todoroki touched her cheek lightly. "Don't even doubt yourself like that, Amari. You're the one I fell in love with. Remember that." Feeling her chest pound rapidly, he leaned in and pressed a soft kiss on her lips, shaking his hand on her waist for support. When they pulled away, he then rested his forehead on hers, breathing out a heavy sigh. Todoroki already knew that there was only one person for him. His father could go screw himself because he wasn't about to give this up. Okay, check her out. I like her stuff. I have another story I'm going to start reading, this one. That'll be tomorrow's reading expedition, other than chapter 14. I'll read chapter 14, and then I'll start reading the Shigaraki one, and then I have another one on my phone, which is a Shigaraki one that I'm going to start reading as well. So, yeah, I think they're really good. Okay, I only got a little bit of reading in this one done, right, but I liked it from the beginning, so I asked the person, they said it was okay, I could read it. And then the one on my phone, I've read the entire thing. I couldn't stop myself. It was just too good. I really liked that one. It's on Wattpad instead of on Quote V, right? And I don't know if I can. There's probably a way to get Wattpad on the computer, but then it would take all the sign-in process, and I just barely got the Wattpad on the phone, and I don't want to go through that bullshit again. So I'll just read it off the phone, and you'll just see a blank screen the entire time. So that's gonna be fun. I just noticed this is a Crunchyroll ad. I don't support it because the last time I tried to get it, it told me I needed to pay for everything, even though I got a free trial. And then I couldn't watch anything. It's like, no, you need to pay to watch this. You just got a free trial, but you need to... Yeah, it was really annoying. I'm gonna stop. If you can afford Crunchyroll, get it. It's good, you know? But if you can't, don't get it. It's a fucking piece of shit. I think I could get sued for that? No, I don't think I can. I'm saying it's good if you can pay for it, because, you know, it costs money. It's just basic information. You think it'd be basic information, but it's not. Why am I feeling like there's something else I'm missing to say? I feel like there's something missing. I don't know what it is. I wonder if they'll get married. That'd be cute. Actually, I'm gonna check. Let's see. Let's see how many chapters. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got. There's a special chapter. And then Bakugo Amari cosplay, which doesn't sound half bad. I'm gonna have to check that out when I finish this recording, which is gonna be finished now. You will hear me in the next video, which will be done sometime tomorrow. Bye-bye!